Hey everyone, Aquarian Humanitarian here. If you are new to this channel, we have recently put out 19 self-development videos related to mental health, consciousness, mindfulness, and soul missions. We are in a very sensitive and critical stage in our human evolution, and we feel that these videos will help people because this is something not talked about in mainstream media. So, most of the things discussed here is not something we learn in school or church, but it helped us. So, we have been sharing them. Today, I am with Sir Tato Malay. He's the founder of I Am Kamalayan movement. Kamalayan means consciousness, and today we will be discussing how to prepare us for the galactic civilization. So, with that said, I want to welcome Sir Tato Malay. Naka-mute. You're on mute.
Yeah, sorry about. Okay,
There you
hello,
go. Mm-hmm.
hello, and welcome again to our podcast here with, of course, Aquarian Humanitarian here. We are going to talk about something very important. I feel that this is something needed to be discussed, especially nowadays,
Yep.
because people are asking what's going on with all
Mm-hmm.
this war, chaos, and confusion that's happening now. What's really going on? Well, as
Yes.
I've said, all these things have to happen. They're
Mm-hmm.
actually a prelude to the beginning of a new world. So
Exactly.
things are collapsing now. So things are ending. A lot of things are collapsing, ending, being, I would say, destroyed. And so, what are we now looking at in terms of the future? What's really in store for us? Are we supposed to get worried only? I mean, because of what's going on, or is there something to rejoice about? Because there is a new thing that we're looking forward to, a new world,
Exactly.
a new earth. And exactly this is why we need to talk extensively about this because people are asking what's going on? Is it the end of the world? Is it already, are we finished? Wala na ba talagang mangyayari maganda? So here we are now going to explain to you that there is something waiting for all of us. Hang on, because here we are now going to really tell you exactly what to do. Because the question is, what's going to happen? I think the real question is, what are we supposed to do? Because basically, with what we are going to do, that is what's going to happen.
Exactly.
Because if you're just going to wait for things to happen without doing anything, well, we're just going to continue what's
Correct.
going on now. This
Exactly.
what is going on now is a result of our past karma or past thinking or past consciousness from Malayan.
Mm-hmm.
So we are actually attracting everything according to who we are at this point in time. That's why we need now to change our consciousness, our Kamalayan, into something else, into something more positive, so that we'll be able now to see a transition to the place or the world that we want to be in now, the new world, the heaven on earth, the 5D. Now, the question
Exactly.
really now is, what are we going to do, or what do we have to do? That's exactly what I'm going to now explain here extensively, because many people have been asking me about what's really in store for us, and what are
Mhm.
you, why are you always talking about the galactic civilization? And people have been shocked in terms of why I always mention the word galactic
Yeah.
or anything that has to do with extraterrestrials. Well, sabi ko nga, everything has to do, what we are now really seeing now happening. There is what we call something that we need. Okay.
I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened, Kuya Tats. I mean, This
Yeah,
is the
I
kind of
know.
stuff
There are a lot of things
that we
happening now.
encounter every time we try to,
There
to
are
hear
some
some of
people
these
or some
things.
there are someone or some entities that are trying to stop us from saying what we need to tell here or what we need
Exactly.
to talk
It
about.
never fails. Every time I have a Zoom call in reference to spiritual topics, there's always interruption. So I'm not surprised anymore.
Yep.
So I apologize for that. If you would
No
just,
problem.
I think where
That's
you
it.
left off is,
Oh,
uh,
as I've said, we are who a lot of people really don't know who we are. We think that we are just beings. Some of us, or some of them, will say we came from the apes. Well, okay, let's say that's true. But then again, something happened. That part of history had never been explained exactly as to what happened.
that's the second time. Talagang
Second time,
ayaw yatang
uh,
paalam sa mga tao yung sasabihin mo, Kuya
yung
Tat.
mga, ito
All
yung
right.
mga kabal talaga. Kakapdal ng mga mukha nila.
They're going against the agenda. Yan.
Yeah, okay, okay. Now, all right, to continue, we need to really uh, remember that we are really galactic already in the first place because we are really hybrid. We are a hybrid civilization in terms of who we are. 5,000 years ago, I will not talk about 500,000 years ago, 50,000 years ago. 5,000 years ago, something happened. They, this other extraterrestrials who came here on to Earth actually uh, uh, tried to do something with our genes and somehow not only did something to our genes, but many of them had relationship with human beings during that time. And many of the offsprings are now us, who we call ourselves as hybrids. We are a hybrid galactic civilization, really. We have alien blood. We have really to accept that. So knowing that, because many people will not be able to accept that, but I need to just tell everyone that's what happened. Okay, I mean, let's not anymore discuss it first here in this episode because we had been discussing that in other episodes, and we can discuss it in future episodes as well.
Mhm.
So we are really galactic beings, hybrid at that. We came from different, I would say, planets. I mean, from different civilizations. Some of us are Pleiadians. Some of us are Anunnakis, Greys, reptilians, and so forth. Many of us are really into that kind of. All of us really have that alien blood, no exception. So why do we need to now remember? Because we're going back to who we are really. And at this point in time, many of our relatives who are watching us in other planets are really looking forward to to, to actually watch us evolve to that civilization, to that higher consciousness, so that we will be able now again to be able to communicate with them and to be able to really talk to them as well. I mean, not only talk, but to be with them and to travel to their places again as to where we came from in the first place. So this is what I'm trying to explain. Now, what do we need to know about being a hybrid civilization? That we are really not weak in the first place. We don't actually have the same kind of, I would say, um, the genes of animals. The animals that we see around practically are made up of a certain genetics that are so different from us. Many are similar, but there is definitely a different way of really looking at our makeup in terms of us human beings. And not only that, as human beings, we have what we call consciousness in terms of how we are able to create. Okay, what does that mean? I mean, animals, are they able to create something that had not been in their community before? No, actually, animals will just uh, eat anything that is just available in their area, in their island, whatever there is, and they cannot anymore try to come up with new things, to invent new things, to be able to come up with new food for them. Unlike us, we are creative people. And what does that imply? If we are creative people, we are creators. And being creators, who are we identified with as creators? To God, to the source. Okay. Now, the thing here is, all right, yun pala, God pala ang direction yan eh. I mean, it was God pala who we are actually connected to. Yes, everything comes from God. The question here is, who created human beings? Was it God? No. Ah, yan ang naman ang nakakashock na tanong. Who created us? God? No. God, when God evolved into something else, and what do you call that? The other now uh, energies that came out of the source became entities as well. So we had, um, I would say, angels that came out from them, from that. What else? Um, the extraterrestrials that we know of came out of that. And so, because of that, everything came out not from God, but from these beings that emanated from the source. So it wasn't actually exactly God who created everything in the universe. Uh, the beings that came after the Big Bang were the ones who were given that power to create whatever can be created in the universe. So if you understand that, now the thing is, why are we now trying to tell people now that this is what happened? Because exactly that was what happened. Now, how did I know? Of course, I mean, I studied, I learned about this, and I was able to download so many things from these beings as well. And so they tried to really explain to me the evolution of man, human beings. Now, if we see the structures that we have seen in Egypt, in Turkey, in many parts of the world, those are signs really that they had been here, lived with us, and had relationships with us, and propagated their races with us as human beings. Ito na ngayon. So what happened to the civilizations during that? Well, we have history that we have studied, the history of Egypt, the history of Turkey, and all those things. Even the ancient texts, the Sumerian texts, the Babylonian texts, they were able to record exactly everything that happened. And they always attributed all these things, the evolution, the knowledge that they got in terms of agriculture, how to develop, to create, to invent, whatever now we are enjoying or experiencing, we learned them from what they recorded in the ancient texts as those who came from above. It's clear they have written in their texts in stones as well exactly what they experienced. Who were they? They said they were the ones who taught us everything. So really, they came from other parts of the universe and then came to Earth. And exactly now, what is happening to Earth is now going to really evolve into a center again, where it used to be really the what we call hub. We were really the center of the universe then already, because many aliens, extraterrestrials would come here because they knew there was something here that they could explore. So now I think that's what they want to do now again, and they see something very, I would say, um, um, there is something here on Earth that is very relevant to what they are now trying to come up with in terms of their own evolution as well, because they are now looking at us, the original human beings who they had relationship with, who are still able to keep the organic being that we are, not tampered with advanced technology, not uh, um, um, I would say, you know, what you call this. It was we were not compromised with AI. I mean, unlike them before, many of these extraterrestrials earlier, because of their ambitions to advance their race, their specific civilization, they used technology to advance their bodies. And so what happened to them? They destroyed their civilizations as a result of that. And now they're trying to get the genes now again from us because we are still intact, the organic human divine being as we are. That's why they're trying now to create more races using human beings as the uh, the new, I would say, race that they're trying to create. Many of the new races now, like I don't know if you're familiar with Bashar. Bashar is an entity as an extraterrestrial who actually give talks through Darul Anka, and he explains, or he actually always mentions the fact that their civilization, the Essasani civilization, an extraterrestrial race, they allude us as their ancestors. They consider us their ancestors because the grace when they used us and our body to create a new race, sila yung result, yung Essasani. That's why they say we are of the same blood as that of who you are in terms of you human beings, but we are also grace in our makeup. Are you following me? I mean,
I do, but I think we're gonna confuse a lot of people here. So let me just reiterate something real quick. Um,
yeah, that's what.
er, okay,
Sige,
so
sige, sige. You
key
have a
points.
question.
We need to
Keep
have
going.
we have to have a separate discussion about the controversial topic of creation. because
Yeah, I know.
we won't
That's
be
why I would just,
able to understand this unless we explain.
yeah.
So there's going to
Actually,
be
I
a
just,
segment on creation, and then they will understand this better. But the thing that I wanted to say is Earth is an experiment. Okay, so we all agree to be part of this experiment, whether you like it or not.
yeah,
That's the truth.
we,
And so before you agree to be part of this experiment, you basically sign a contract that you forget everything. So there's a veil of forgetfulness. So a
yeah,
lot of people are still in amnesia. As far as Bashar is concerned, yes, I'm familiar with him, and he is actually in the Great Awakening map. So people
yeah.
need to understand who he is and what he's saying. But I just wanted to say it's important right now that a lot of people will be confused when they start listening to
I
this
know.
because they don't understand the controversial topic of creation. So I think in the next session we will talk about that. But I think let's just focus on, okay, given that we are hybrids, what can we do? What can we do
Okay,
right now?
that's
Okay,
exactly. That's
know
why
who we are.
I had, I had to go to that point first so that I'll be able to explain everything from there. Otherwise, there's no point in me to say we
Mhm.
human beings are going to be this way. But if I had already given a background in terms of what happened really, and of course I know it's going to be a shocker, so no problem with that. I needed to just say it, and otherwise I won't be able to be in a position to continue. So, okay, from there, as I've said, we have to remember who we are. Now, if we are already able to remember who we are, that is where we are now going to start everything again. All right.
Okay,
So,
so I think this segment would be good for the people who already know who they are. So if you don't know who you
no,
are yet, I think the session after this would be a better session for you to watch and then watch this one. So
yeah,
because this is not going to resonate with you because our topic right now will resonate to the star seeds that already know who they are, assuming that they already know. So assuming that you already know who you are, then this video is for you.
okay, all right. I mean,
Okay, we just
maybe
want to
not.
clarify that.
So, but remember, actually, it's really like this. All right. If you know who you are, again, we have now this talk about disclosure. Anytime, maybe this year or next year, extraterrestrials will show themselves already in front of us, in front of people. That's not anymore something that we can prevent from happening. That's why I'm talking this way already because I'm just telling people, hey, if I don't explain it this way, everyone will be shocked the moment these extraterrestrials really are being disclosed as really true. Masashock na talaga yun. That's why ngayon, ako ay one of those guys who are already telling people na wag na kayo ma-shock because we are going to really expect all these things now to really happen. So, kumbaga, ako lang nag-shock from una para lang to soften the impact. Kasi if no one will really talk this way, and then suddenly, tomorrow, Trump already would announce that's true. And all this talk about extraterrestrials are true. So at least I could say I told you so. We warned you. So somehow we were preparing them. That's the real way of trying to tell people why I'm doing this. I'm preparing everyone to that event, to that disclosure, because people now hear the word disclosure. What's that? I mean, is that true? I've seen a lot of posts by my born again friends that, wow, is this really happening? This closure? Is it really true that we're not alone? Now they're realizing that there might be truth to that kind of a fact that we're not alone. And so now they're panicking. So, but again, may lusot na naman sila. Hindi, demonyo yun. This thing that they are talking about, the actual extraterrestrials, they still use the word devil. So talagang, they will not accept it pa rin. Kaya nasabi ko, okay, sige. Kaya ako naman, the way I talk, parang
Hmm.
normal na. Parang it's already here. I mean, that's why ako, I would say I might shock people, but I've been shocking people ever since. I mean, 25 years ago, I was already talking this way. I mean, I had been branded so many names already. So, ngayon, ay, nagmamayabang na ako ngayon na totoo pala yung sinasabi ko. I mean, totoo pala yung sasabihin niya, totoo pala yung sinasabi ni Tato. So, eto na eh, everything, international news already is already creating that buzz, preparing for that time na talagang everything already will be formalized and nga. That's why nga, ako naman, I don't want people to get to be shocked in a way na parang they don't know what to do. That's why here we are going to tell you exactly what to do. We have to start with ourselves. That's why we know now if you know already that we're hybrid, my God, wala pala akong takas eh. Ako pala mismo hybrid. I mean, I'm part of that. I mean, so why am I going to be afraid of? What am I afraid of now? Nothing dapat kasi we're supposed to accept that. Now, again, as I've said, a lot of times people will not agree to that, but we have to just continue and continue talking this way unless and otherwise kasi wala eh. I mean, people will just continue with the way they think about what's going on, about who they are. Now, the moment we can now give them exactly the kind of, I would say, procedure as to what to change, what to look for, what to expect. Somehow, ito na, we are now going to really agree because we are supposed to be a unified planet in terms of who we are. We have to be able to now see ourselves as earthlings, people from Earth. I mean, all right, we would, most of us will say, hindi naman ako taga-Earth eh, kasi I come from another planet. Many of us would claim I'm from this particular galaxy, I'm from this particular planet. Many of us already are aware of their exact origins or history. No problem with that. Now the thing here is, here we are now on planet Earth, in planet Earth. We are now really living in a planet where everything is, I would say, beautiful. Many of the other extraterrestrials really look at our planet as the best planet right now in the universe, where everything is here. So that's why I am really expecting all these disclosures will happen this year because they will not be able to prevent it anymore. I can really now see Trump announcing it. Otherwise, uunahan na naman siya. Inunahan na siya ni ano eh, um, who was this? Ni Barack Obama. Barack Obama. Actually, that's one of the reasons why Trump already mentioned it because Barack Obama recently gave also a statement about that. Kaya sabi niya, I don't know if Trump will already say it. Umano na siya. So, Trump now was forced to already give a stand, to give his stand on what is going on. Although I know another reason why he wants to.
That's the third interruption. I think you mentioned
All
some
right.
names.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so all right. Anyway, so okay. I hope they don't edit the video or they don't. Uh, anyway, so
We'll have to watch
again,
this video and see.
yeah. All right. Now the thing is, okay, what do we now have to do as human beings to evolve to the galactic uh, consciousness that we're now really going to have? Because we need to be able to accept it in the first place that we are really a galactic civilization in terms of having a galactic consciousness because that's who we are. Ang nangyari sa atin is inano tayo, dinowngrade tayo because they wanted to control us. But now, it cannot be prevented anymore because everything is already out in the open. And somehow we have gotten back our power. Now, that is exactly what we want to talk about. What is that power that we need to get back? All right, we're familiar with our five senses. Okay, are you already? Do you think we just have five senses? Are you aware that we have 15 senses? 15. Of course, the five senses are the five physical senses, and there are five mental senses, and another five spiritual senses. Okay, the five senses, or physical senses that we know, what are they? Sense of sound, smell, um, sight, taste, and what? Touch. We're familiar with that. What about the mental um, um, senses that we have? Are we aware of that? Now is the time to be aware of that. We have imagination, we have memory, we have intuition, reason, and what? Willpower. Those are five mental senses that we need to be able to use positively, creatively, so that we can evolve to a higher level of consciousness. Again, I will repeat, we have imagination, we have memory. Do animals have memory? Yes, at times they remember what happened to them or what they were trained to in terms of, well, kunyari, and the dogs, when you train dogs, they remember somehow, but they have limited memory. And some chimpanzees, I think they have memories as that of a 1-year-old child or 2-year-old, whatever. So hanggang dun lang, limited sila. But we can expand or expound our memory. So again, intuition. That's the most important thing that we have to now be aware of and develop. Like me, I'm a very intuitive person. I always get, I don't think actually, I just get intuition. I mean, downloads from whatever. And so I actually act from them, from those things. Kaya nasabi ka nila, ano ka ba? Nag-iisip ka ba? Hindi. I actually just get to feel it. I mean, kung ano yung na ano ko. And where does intuition come from? It doesn't come from the left brain. It comes from the right brain. So creativity and creative tayo. And so again, reasoning is the left brain. Intuition is the right brain. So we have to really now use whole brain thinking because we have been only using our left brain most of the time because in school that's what they bombarded us in terms of their teachings. Puro left brain. Yung right brain, hindi masyadong binigyan ng pansin yun. And but that is where creativity is. But they didn't want us to know that we are really a creative people. That's why they never really gave that much attention to the right brain. And then, reason, I mean, willpower. We have that kind of, I would say, determination to do things. Practically, it's all up to us. We have free will, and we have been given that willpower to do whatever we want to do. So it's all up to us. It's a power, literally a power. Now, the third, your spiritual senses, the five spiritual senses. Number one is clairvoyance. What is clairvoyance? Knowing what? What's going to happen? Or, yeah. And then the next one is clairaudience, being able to hear what other people cannot hear. Ako, I am a clairaudient. I am not, I would say, able to see ghosts, but I can hear a ghost. I mean, what they say or what they express. And then clairsentience. And then the other one is claircognizance or claircognition, knowing exactly what's going to happen. And clair aliens. All right, these are all new things that we need to understand. Um, I actually was not able to get my entire definition on this particular clairs, the differentiations, but I will get back to that. I mean, I just wrote exactly the things that I could remember. I mean, but I wasn't able to. When I was writing them, I thought I could remember that I would be able to explain them as is. And now, I don't know. You have to forgive my memory. I forgot all of them. I don't want to give different definitions to different names. I might confuse people. So later on, Kuna, I explain all of them. But there are five spiritual senses. And so those are the five spiritual senses. Now, knowing that, what are we now looking into? Are we still weak? Are we still just human beings with that kind of power? Wala pa yung psionic powers. Actually, yung spiritual one are considered psionic powers. Pero marami pa yan. So, we are now really evolving into that kind of a civilization. Why? Because we are now changing our makeup. We are really what we call light bodies. If you are really going to look at who we are really made up of light. We are light beings in the first place. So we have a physical body here on earth, but we really are light bodies. So combining both, that's who we are, human beings. Other extraterrestrials, they don't really have a body. They are made out of light, that kind of energy that they emit to just make it look like a form, something that would form an image of them. But actually, there's nothing really in them. As what is really true with us, there's nothing really physical about us. Everything is invisible because even our cells, our smallest particle, is really invisible. It can never be seen. So the only way it can be seen is when energy is slowed down, and somehow all these particles would solidify, and what we get out of it is a physical body. So everything is invisible energy. Everything is energy. That's another thing that we need to understand about who we are. That's why, what are we trying to evolve into if you don't know who you are? That we are first energy. And we are really made out of light. That's why even Jesus also would explain that in the Bible. You are made in the image and likeness of God. And what is the image and likeness of God? God is light. So, okay. Anyway, so yeah, marami pang mali dito pag dyan tayo mag-explain. But again, as I've said, I will just make a run through on this. People will now see a different way of looking at life after today, because if they hear me talking this way and somehow would give me the chance to be able to explain it to them in a way na matatanggap nila, I think we are able to get to the point now we are able to change already the consciousness of our people. And that's how we are now trying to go about these things. We cannot say, dahan-dahanin natin. No, now we have to go out in the open and really say, hey, we are not anymore going to be pretending that we are going to tell you that we are like this and like you. No, now straightforward and telling you we are alien beings. We are really galactic beings in the first place. So, okay, knowing all those things again, that we have that power, the senses, aside from the physical senses, we have the mental and the spiritual. Now we have to develop all of them. We will go next time we talk again, maybe explain more about the spiritual and the mental senses so that we can really identify as to what kind of powers we can get out of them. All right, now another thing that we need to remember is if we really are galactic beings and we are now going to live in a different world, are we still going to see the same things? Maybe not. What do we mean by maybe not? Are we still going to work? Maybe not. Why? Because we have everything already. Because the moment our alien counterparts come back to us, they will help us already in terms of using technology, energy. I mean, imagine if you have free energy, free electricity, no more gasoline. You can use gasoline as like water na lang niya. Parang it's available for all of us. No, walang bayad. So what is there to now worry about? Everything is already with us. And that's what exactly is going to happen. Everything is with us already. Now we need to be able to evolve to that level of consciousness to be able to use them properly. Kasi ito yung tinago ng mga kabal eh. Sila yung nag-control ng ng energy, ng electricity, gasoline, so that we pay them and we buy from them. And now all these things now are going to become free. So if everything is free, what are we going to do? Nothing. Chill out, enjoy life. I mean, that's what's going to happen really. But we need to be aware of who we are. Again, we came here to this world to know to do exactly what we need to do as to who we are. At this point in time, we came here for the evolution of this new world. But once a new world is there, what are we now going to do? Help people now understand exactly how to use everything according to what we have in terms of advanced technology. Because if we have already advanced technology, we're not going to travel the world. We're going to travel the entire universe. I mean, that's what we're now trying to look into. Eh, na naman ganyan ng ano na natin. Everything that we saw in Star Trek, in um, all these sci-fi movies that we used to watch are now really a reality. So again, ang tanong lang dyan is, are we able to catch up, we as human beings? Kaya nga, ito, in-explain na natin na we are now evolving into that. Now, what do we need to understand as to who we are? We have our consciousness, kamalayan. What do we know? What do we know about consciousness? That it creates our reality. It is our, all right, I don't know if you're familiar with Star Trek. I don't know if you're familiar with what holodeck is. You know the word holodeck. You know, holodeck is inside the spaceship of, I mean, in the movies, I mean, in the episode of Star Trek. This is where they're able to imagine where they want to be or what they want to happen. And it's created in that room. Parang, ano, simulation. Simulation. So we are able to create all of these things. Now, in Star Trek, they're able to do that through computers. But the advanced computer that we have is our consciousness. We are able to create everything according to our consciousness. And now, if you get to a higher level of consciousness, that's what's going to happen to us now. We are now going to create according to what we want to imagine. And exactly that is exactly what we are now experiencing in this world. We are creating everything now according to who we are. Although a lot of times we still fail in terms of getting what we don't want as well. Pa rin. Pero now that we know who we are, we only will get now what we want and create what we want and to be where we want to be. Kaya nga, teleportation, madali na yan. I mean, all these things will really just be a snap of a finger. So we are going to be parang spiritual beings, but with a body. Imagine, nasarap eh, with a body. That means you can still enjoy your food. That's why, I mean, okay, if you have an extraterrestrial friend right now with you, sabi mo sa kanya, I'll take you to a restaurant, let's eat. Do you think that extraterrestrial friend of yours will be able to enjoy the food that you are now going to feed him? Because he doesn't have the sense of taste. Or maybe, you will have to explain now that this is what we do. This is who we are. We actually enjoy this. That's why if you really look at us, I mean, we're the best form of a, a being in the entire galaxies because we have a physical body, a human body to enjoy with the five senses. And with the five senses na lang, with one sense lang, ang dami pa natin hindi na experience. It's a sense of taste. Have you tasted already all the nice food that you can taste? The ones, all the best chefs in the world are able to cook. Oh, hindi ba? Ang dami-dami nilang timpla na nagagawa. Different kinds of, I would say, tastes according to the ingredients that they actually use. So we're really going to enjoy life to the fullest. Wala na tayong problema. Heaven on earth is, I mean, nareklamo pa ba tayo? We have a physical body, but we're still having our bodies with us. I mean, we are in a heavenly place and we're still experiencing with our bodies pa rin. Eh, sabi nga nila, yung mga namamatay, yung mga mag-asawa natin, wag nagkita sila sa langit, ano sila? Spirit. Will they enjoy exactly who they are as spirits? Dito sa earth, we still have bodies. We still are able to enjoy our physical bodies together. So, lamang tayo in a way. Again, I'm just making fun out of it in terms of what I'm trying to explain here because a lot of people really are shocked. That's why when I talk this way, nga, we have to make people understand that this is who we are. We have a body, but we are not really a body. We are really spiritual beings having a human experience. And what is that human experience that we're supposed to experience? I mean, are we going to deny the best things in life now that it's free? Di ba? If you can afford already the best things in life for free because of advanced technology, also, what are we now going? Who's now going to stop us from enjoying life to the fullest? Di ba? I mean, ang sarap ng buhay. I mean, everything is for free. That's what's going to happen now in the next but ang requirement is again we have a choice. Two choices only. Love or fear. If you want to stay in the third dimension, you still use fear as your motivation or motivator. But if you want to go to the next level, 5D, it's all about love. We cannot have fear there. It's only love. That's why in 5D, it's only about love. Fear, dito sa third dimension, yan ang gera. Andyan yung patayan, andyan yung takot, andyan lahat yung gulo sa dito. And you can still remain here if you want to. We don't force everyone to join us in the next world that we're trying to create now. So in other words, we are now seeing a different life, but still as human beings, we still have a body here on earth. And as I've said, our earth is so beautiful. I mean, ikaw, I know you've been to a lot of places in the world. You've seen all the best tourist spots already, and I would envy you a lot because I've not experienced what you have experienced so far. So, yun yung mga bagay na we're looking forward to now. If everything already is at hand, we have the technology to use for free. So, what we need to do now is to know who we really are, what makes us happy, what will really make us happy, what will what are we going to do that will make us happy, and that's what we are only that is the only thing that is required of us to do it. So if you're, as I said, if you're a singer, you have a beautiful voice, you sing because that's your gift, and that's what you'll share. So everyone has a gift. We have to discover our gifts. And the moment we have our gifts, that's the time we get to really work together with everyone, sharing our gifts. Not exactly demanding payment, but for the sheer enjoyment of giving it or doing it. Di ba? If you love dancing, you would just, continue dancing kahit wala namang bayad. Di ba people go to mga Zumba classes just to dance. So that's exactly what's going to happen. Heaven on earth. What else are you now going to ask for? I mean, you'll have everything already. So, ano pa? Ano kulang? Wala na. All you need to do is to evolve to that higher level of consciousness where there's harmony, peace, love, joy, happiness, and you know, really stay there most of the time. Actually, all right, we are not confined to the 5D or the fifth dimension only because there are a lot of dimensions. I don't even consider that we have only 12 dimensions. I think what we need to now really just look at is up to the 12th dimension kasi yun lang ang kaya ng ating mind pa at this point in time. But again, as I've said, God is unlimited, the source is unlimited. So it's expanding and expanding. And so it's never ending. We cannot say, hanggang dito na lang kami. Hanggang dyan na lang si Jesus kasi hanggang doon na lang yung inabot niya as being God. That's, you're not going to put any limitations on anything because unlimited tayo. It's forever. So that's what now we are trying now to see, that kind of a future where we don't die, just continue to live in a different world later on and enjoy whatever is there to enjoy. Imagine, I mean, all this we have already now. We are now going to now let go of the past that had held us prisoner from suffering. Imagine we we suffered for so long, and somehow now we are able now to see ourselves free from that kind of suffering. So the moment we're able now to unlock the door that will set us free, which is really unlocked already in the first place. So we're free now to do whatever. We have to just accept the fact that we are now free as a people to do now according to what according to who we are. So I think doon pa lang, yan ang gusto ko munang ano. Because marami pang paraan. Like, okay, what do we expect from a civilization that actually is evolved already? All right, let me look at my notes para I don't forget anything. Like, we're going to live simple lives, but we have everything. Pero we don't need to collect anymore. We don't need I would say, gather or save or whatever, because anything that we want at any time, we get it according to what we want at the moment because we have the power.
Okay,
So
sorry to
definitely.
interrupt you. Sorry to interrupt you. We're already on 1 hour mark. So is your
Okay.
next topic going to take long or short?
No.
Should we put it
Well,
on? Should we put it
I
in the
will
next
just, I will
session?
just, I will just siguro try to. This is just okay. Less than a minute. I will
Oh,
not
okay,
explain it thoroughly. I will just
okay,
give a run through on this para people will know what
okay,
to expect the next time. Okay.
okay,
12 things highly evolved beings have in common. This is again according to what's going to become us in terms of who we are. They they deeply care for their environment. In other words, highly evolved people care for their environment. They respect their own bodies. They don't own anything. We don't own anything already because everything is already out there for us to get. So wala ka nang kailangan paghirapan pa para makuha. You don't own anything, you can just have anything. They share everything. Their goal is simplicity. They have total honesty. They have respect for their elders. They respect the uniqueness of everyone. They live in small settlements. Hindi na yung mga mansion-mansion. Small you don't even need a big house. Because, communities na yan. I mean, they deeply trust the universal laws. They live in unity and connected with divinity. Yun. So, in other words, that's something to really now see in the future for us. Hindi na tayo kailangan pa magpagarbo o pag-engrand because, you know, we practically just, sabi nga, just say whatever you want to say, what you want to have, and you will get it at the moment. So, magical ang life na natin. So, yun lang. With that, I'd like to say, I think I've said my piece on this one time explaining as to what we are now getting into because a lot of people still are confused as to what's going on now. Anything you
okay.
want to say?
I'm going to just reiterate a couple of points I took down here. So, Sci-fi movies are actually disclosure. So if you wanted to watch Star Trek, Star Wars, those are actually disclosure movies, and you can start with that. Focus on the positive timeline to create a positive reality. And just like what you mentioned, just like what you mentioned, choose love over fear, so you will manifest the positive timeline. You need to be able to be you need to be open to unlearning things that we were brainwashed. There's a lot of
Yeah,
those brainwashing, and then relearn
and
the truth and the new the new things that's coming up. As far as material world is concerned, what I know about this is the younger souls who has not been able to experience the material world is actually will be able to create that world for them. But then
yeah,
again, that's not going to be 5D Earth. There's going to be suffering in that reality because that's not
suffering.
on the material world. There would be suffering on the material world,
No,
not the
no.
one
Kasi
that
okay, okay. Anyway, sige, sige. What else? Sige, continue what you want to say. I will just talk about this later on na lang. Not today.
because mm, for me, my understanding is if you're younger, because we always have free will and we cannot impose what you want. I cannot impose what I want, even if we want all of us to be in 5D
Oh,
world,
okay.
right?
All right. I think I get your point. Actually, okay, this is what I forgot to say. We will become really what we call multidimensional beings. We can evolve, we can go to the higher consciousness levels, and we can always come back to the 3D, to the even to the 2D level or whatever in existence. So we are going to just flow from one dimension to another. That's who we are. We are multidimensional beings.
Okay.
You know?
I wanted to add something to that because my this is my understanding, and I'm not imposing my understanding on anyone.
Yeah, yeah.
You do your own research and you figure it out on your own. But my understanding is, and this is something new that just came to me. There's 11 versions of us here. So us, me, you, me, this is the 12. So there's 11 versions of us here on Earth with the same consciousness. And when the great solar flash happens, then it will all collapse. It will collapse to just one. But my understanding is that the younger souls, of course, we are already old souls. I mean, we've experienced all kinds of things already. But the younger souls, they still are able to choose. Like, for example, I know a lot of people in my family who's still choosing the 3D timeline, the
Yeah,
material
that's right.
world
Yeah, okay.
timeline,
All up,
because they
it's all up
are
to them.
choosing to experience more of that material world. And that's okay because that's the timeline that they're choosing. But what I'm saying is that material world is just like 3D world. There's going to be suffering in the 3D reality. That comes with
Yeah,
having material, as your priority, because in the higher realm, materiality doesn't exist. Money does not exist.
that's true. But okay, sige, are you done? I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
with
I'm
what
done.
you want to add? No,
Yep,
actually,
yep, yep.
okay lang. I mean, that's very, ano naman. Kaya lang nga, ang code kasi dito, as we as human beings now, in planet Earth, what we are now going to really see is a balance between consciousness and technology. So we're able to use technology to our advantage. Well, maybe the kind of suffering, yes, at times, yes, because we're still physically a body. We can still develop sicknesses or whatever.
No, no, no,
So,
no. That's not my understanding. Us who are
uh,
choosing to ascend, I just want to make this clear because I don't want to confuse people. There are people
okay,
who's choosing to ascend and people who does not have any idea of what ascension is, which means they haven't done any inner work. So, and if they
yep,
haven't done the inner work, they still don't know who they are. They're not going to ascend.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
what
okay,
you're describing as a galactic human, that's not going to be experienced by people who are choosing not to ascend because they're choosing a different timeline. At least that's my understanding.
okay, yeah, I get your point. I know. Okay, what I'm really saying here is, in terms of who we are as human beings now, galactic human beings, we are now able to, again, as I've said, live in a physical world, at the same time experiencing spiritual happenings as well, because we're able now to really transcend at any time, because we're able now to really become originally who we are in terms of what really is expected, what we can really do with ourselves, because we are not anymore limited as what we had been as to what happened to us in the past. So
That's
tama ka.
if
I mean,
they believe. That's if they believe that they have those
ayun na nga
powers.
eh.
Because if they don't believe that they have those powers,
Hindi,
they're not
ang,
gonna
ang,
have
ang,
those experience.
ang, ang belief kasi ng iba is they will not anymore experience it here because they will die, and the only way they can experience heaven is when they're dead and when they go to heaven. That's another story. I mean, the thing here is, when they die, they realize na, teka muna, parang yata tama yata yung mga nangyayari doon. Nabalik ulit nga ako doon. So, mag-reincarnate naman sila. So, that's the real score why people keep on reincarnating. Eh. Parang, ah, kala ko, ano na ako, okay na ako, ano, paglabatay na ako. Eh, bakit? Parang, ano, balik na uli ako. So, that's the reason why people reincarnate. Eh.
So I
So,
had
they want to
a
experience again.
I have a friend who does not believe in past life, and you know, I believe in past life. So sometimes we get into this um, debate. But I said, there's no reason for us to do debate. I respect your beliefs. I love you. I
Yeah,
respect your beliefs, and we don't talk about those things. And there are actually one instance when I was supposed to say something to her, and my spirit guide said, "No, don't tell her.
yeah.
She's not ready yet.
Anyway,
She's not ready to
that's
hear that yet." So I said, never mind. I forgot what I was supposed to say." But
anyway.
she's
So,
very highly, very, very indoctrinated in religion. And I mean, it is what it
we
is.
are actually okay. I mean, to add more to what we had been talking about, we are really going to be the masters of the universe. I mean, that's how other beings from other parts of the galaxies are looking at us, because we have kept our organic being intact. We have not compromised ourselves to AI.
Yeah.
And
And
our emotions, exactly, our emotions is the one that they don't have emotions
emotional quotient,
to
emotional
love.
intelligence. Yep.
Uh,
The other thing that was mentioned earlier that I needed to make sure I make not correction, but because again, you're free to think whatever you want to think and believe what you want to think. I'm talking about to the viewers, but the my understanding is the positive timeline trajectory, what we call 5D New Earth, will not have AI. We will have technology, but organic, our own consciousness. That's our
yeah,
technology. Yeah,
I mean, the kind of technology that I'm talking about in the future is practically what we now are able to experience. Free energy, the energy that we are now, that
that's
Tesla was talking
basically
about.
That's basically hidden technology. Those are not new
Yeah,
technology. Those are hidden
yeah, that's it,
technology.
that's it. Because the
Mm.
moment the kind of concept of Tesla takes place now, exactly, this is what we are now going to have. Free energy. I mean, free. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yep. So I just want to make sure I make that clear. And one final note, I'm not again, if you believe in med beds, it's going to manifest in your life. Med beds are real. Med beds are going to be available to, I think, there's priority. So med beds are um, going to be available in April. and there's three kinds of med
Here in
beds
the Philippines, in
across
the
the board.
Philippines,
Yes, across the 209 countries. Yes, in April.
sino
That's
sinong sino magdadala rito?
this is post the disclosure. It's already here. They're just not
I know.
telling
I
you
mean,
where they're
that's
at.
why I know. I want to know who are because it's
Don't
kind of
worry.
expensive.
No, no, no. This is not gonna be this is free for everybody. This is when
I
they
know.
this is post shutdown of the whole industry, medical industry,
Hmm.
food industry. This next, okay, Iran war and all of this, between, so this is the first week. Give it about 4 or 5 weeks, and hopefully within that time frame, we would be able to show people whatever is really happening, because
Wow.
people are not aware that what they're seeing in mainstream media is actually illusion. That the war is already, there's no war. The alliance, the Earth Alliance, are not gonna allow any of that to happen. So they're just basically showing that to people. So again, this is why it's important that you know who you are and you know how to discern. Because if you're seeing that in mainstream media and you know who you are and you see things and you see reality as it is, you will be questioning things, and you'll be
Yeah.
able to
And you'll get worried.
your spirit guide would be showing you things that will point you to the right direction. But again, that's another story. And again, you can believe what you want to believe. But the thing that I wanted to say is make sure that not um, you're not going towards the fear side
Yeah.
of the spectrum, but manifest the positive timeline. Because if you're in fear, you're not embodying love. All
It's
right,
true.
because they're on the
Only
opposite
love.
direction. So you have to function in love in order to manifest the positive timeline. Now, going back to the med beds are it has been here. It's just that hidden from us because the controllers, the dark forces, the dark entities, the cabal, they have been using it. We're just not
I
aware of
know.
it
I know.
because
I know. That's why
they're
ako,
using,
parang tagal-tagal ko nang nadidilig yan. Hanggang ngayon, sabi ko, nasaan na yan?
because they
Sino
have to
na may-ari
collapse
niyan?
because they have to collapse the
Hmm.
medical industry. And when I had the conversation in 2021 with John Paul Rice, the Hollywood producer, actor, whistleblower in Hollywood, when I asked him that, because I was curious, I said, do you personally know who owns these medbeds? And he said, yes, they are here. They are owned by religious Christian organizations. So
Yeah, I
it's
know. I think
basically
I've
who
heard
you
of the
know.
owner. Kaya lang, yun na nga, who are the distributors now, especially here in the Philippines, who had been, sabi nga na, dami nga nag-aalok sa akin. Sabi ko, maghanap ka ng mayaman na mayaman para makabili ng isang medbed. Sabi
No,
ko,
you don't need to buy med beds because it's going to be free. The reason why these Christian organizations had access to med beds, they have connections in the Earth Alliance.
yeah,
These bed beds are not going to be, it's not going to cost anything to anybody, because once we reach the proper timeline and we collapse the medical industry, actually the health professionals in the US, I don't know here yet or any other countries, but I know in the US they have been rearranging and like they're going, again, they're collapsing the medical industry. So the new technology can come in, and they're being trained by this. And I know people who are, actually in the know and know a lot of things about medbeds. So there's three kinds of medbeds. The one that gives you like if you are missing parts of the body, then you'll be able to use that. Another one is the age regression, so you can regress up to
And cancer,
30 years,
cancer cure,
and then cure any of your
cancer.
diseases, get rid of all those whatever it is that you have. But um, there's priority. The people who are, and they know us. The alliance know who you are. They know exactly who's sick. They know exactly who needs it right away. So the priorities are the people that the dark entities targeted for COVID. So who are those? People who are senior citizens. I believe that people who are over 70 years old will have the priority. So they will be able to age
Ako,
regress
tagal
if
pa
they're
pala
sick.
ako.
You're only what, 28? What was
28.
your age? Yeah, 28. You're only 28. So, so the other group of people that's going to have access to it are the ones who, the soldiers who were in the battle
Been there.
underground, the dumps, the um, what else? Those people who are extremely needing it, like the people who had C, like
Yeah,
the
I
stage
mean,
4. Those are the people that's
I've
going.
been waiting for
Actually,
that for a long time already. So bring them in.
yeah.
No
So
problem.
for us to be able to manifest this faster is through us too, through our consciousness. Because
Yeah, I mean, that's why.
if all of us believe that this thing exists, and that's how we were able to manifest this actually, because the star seeds and light workers back a couple of years ago, they were this was uh, this entered their consciousness, but
Mm,
some didn't want to believe it. I believed it. I believed it. Part of me believed it. So anyway, so that's what's gonna happen in the next couple of months. The but before we can even see that, there's gonna be bumpy road in between. But again,
yeah,
what I've been trying to say here is just make sure that you are not focusing on the war, whatever the mainstream media is showing you, because what they're reporting is not really 100% true because everything's already done. Oh, by
everything
the
is
way,
finished.
yeah, everything is finished already. They're just basically showing this to people because they have to show it before we can, because it doesn't make sense for them to see the end without seeing what actually happened, because they're not going to understand quantum financial system. They're not going to understand the corrupt institutions. I mean, they need to be shown these things in order for them to understand the next level. Because what happens is, if you don't show them, then the history will repeat itself. So this
Exactly.
has to be shown to people. That's why we are in like the bottom, bottom, bottom of the pit right now. Like everything that could possibly happen wrong has happened. So, I mean, we don't want any of these to happen again. And by the way, they haven't even disclosed everything that the Epstein file has shown us, right? Only half of that.
I know,
But
half of it. The
the
3 million, wala pa.
yeah, the other 3 million is not out there yet. But that's gonna be a rough one. The next half would be, people
Ano,
will lose it, but I'm just gonna tell you guys, the war is already done. Just focus on, absorbing it, accept that it happened.
and
It already
look
happened,
forward to a new world happening already.
right? Because that world cannot repeat anymore. That's very,
Yeah,
very dark.
that's why we have to keep up. I mean, keep talking about this new Earth and at this point in time already because people are
Okay,
getting disillusioned as to what's going on.
my guy just told me I need to say this, so I'm gonna say it. What are those dark darkness that I'm talking about, crimes against children. They are not these people are not human beings like us. They
Yeah,
are they are alien, they're
and
reptilian.
yes,
And I'm
yes,
not saying that
yes.
all reptilian
That's why
are
I need
bad.
to really tell people who we are and who they, because everything that's going on has something to do with the past in terms of aliens.
All right,
Exactly. I mean,
so
walang
they
demonyo rito, is alien yan eh. Alien pa rin yan.
so
So,
they
hindi
eat
siya, they eat. So,
they eat our
uh,
children. They eat our children.
well, that's what they like. So, actually, okay, in
That's
the Bible, nasa Bible yan eh.
yeah.
I mean,
Child
the
sacrifices in
early,
the Bible.
oo, di ba? Sacrifices. I mean, will you sacrifice your son for this God? I mean, what is this guy asking for? Or what is he? Di ba? Si ano yun eh, si Yahweh yun eh. I want you to sacrifice your son. He was kunyari testing daw, pero practically that was not testing. That's exactly what they were all about. I mean, who they were.
Okay,
And imagine all the,
so
sige,
be careful on who you're praying to because you might be praying to the God of this world, which is Satan, and there's different gods out there. Okay,
Ay,
so
naku, tagal-tagal ko nang palagi sinasabi yan eh. Yung Yahweh, Yahweh na yan na sinasabi nating God eh. It's not God. I mean, extraterrestrial. That's why sabi ko nga, the Bible is not a story of God, but a story of extraterrestrials. I will keep on saying that again and again. That's
so
why
the
I came up
Epstein
with my,
mhm. So the Epstein
so,
files are out there. I mean, don't rely on anybody. If you don't believe what we're saying, go forward. I mean, go ahead
yeah,
and research, do
they
your own
want to play
research.
gods, still continue. They want to continue to control us beings. Actually, yun lang nga ang kwan eh. That's why they use people to really, like, for example, si Epstein, he was being used. He was one of those being used by these people to really do what they want them to do. So, blackmailing everyone para lang makuha yung mga gusto nila from these people. Exactly. And it's being done also here now in the Philippines. I mean, ang dami na rito ganyan style na
Yeah,
na bina-blackmail nila yung mga bata rito ngayon na, oh, underage ka, di ba? What are you doing with your boyfriend? You want me to report you to your parents and to the, ano? So ngayon, biglang, may mga stories sa ganyan dito ngayon. Same Epstein style of, you know, blackmailing people. Pag nandyan na, they actually already have conquered or actually created that kind of a scenario already to be used already for their files. Yun na nga, yung mga text messages, yun na yun eh. That's how sila yung mga guru were, ano eh, were caught eh.
infiltrated.
Yung mga text messages eh. Oh, messages
They
lang
were
yun. Oh.
infiltrated.
So,
Yeah.
yun lang yun eh. Ganun ka simple lang ang ginawa nila doon. And now, they're able to control them, palakot.
Oh, okay. Wait. I need to say this too. Um, Mother Teresa is not good. The Pope is not good.
Well,
That's a
as I've
download
said,
that just came in that I have to say. But again, they're going to have to learn that later on, probably on the next
everything will
batch of
come out in the
Epstein file.
open.
Yeah.
Everything will come out
Um,
in the open.
I actually before we started the Zoom, I posted something on Facebook of the list of arrested, executed, and replaced. Those high those people in high places. So part of that list is actually shared a couple of years ago, but this is more comprehensive list and latest list because now people are seeing they're looking at this actor and then this new actor that's showing up on TV. They don't look alike. They're
Oh,
they're totally different.
Jim
Jim
Carrey.
Carrey, yeah,
Oh, di ba? I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
that's why most of
So
them are now
it's finally entering the
mainstream
consciousness of
media.
the mass mainstream media. I mean, I've been saying this in 2020 when the inauguration of Biden, the fake Biden. There was
Yeah,
no
even
inauguration.
sa sa UK, yung first, yung royal family doon. I mean,
Yeah, that too.
Queen Elizabeth,
They're, oh,
basically
reptilian, big time.
reptilian. Oh,
Yeah. And
inamin naman
and
niya eh.
yeah, and then they now have all these whistleblowers coming out now, just like the person I interviewed, John Paul Rice. He's one of the whistleblower, right? And now these people are showing and telling everybody that they witnessed like they witnessed Epstein transforming to a reptilian,
Yeah,
um, Queen Elizabeth transforming to reptilian. I mean, but back then people weren't ready to hear that because
of
we think
course.
that that's crazy. But
Blasphemy.
if you understand that where we came from, who we are, who's controlling the world for millennia, which is the reptilian,
Exactly.
draconian, if you
That's why
understand
nga
the
I
Anunnaki
I
story,
I talked about that because we have to now go back. I mean, first to explain that unless we explain that, people will not understand who these guys are. Yun na nga, sabihin na, asama nila. Eh, hindi lang sila masama. They're being used by these aliens para now try to stop us from evolving to a higher level of consciousness.
correct,
Because they
correct,
wanted
correct.
us to really become slaves forever.
Yes,
But
yes.
they're slaves forever.
And they were
Yeah.
successful. 1,000 years they've done it.
Yeah. Kaso nga ngayon, hindi na. Mabas na yung katotohanan. Alam na natin. So we have reclaimed already our power.
So,
That's why I'm telling people.
so now we're getting ready to 1,000 year of peace, the age of Aquarius,
Ang age of Aquarius.
the
Right.
golden age. Anyway, all
So
right, nice
enjoy.
talk. Um, nice talk. Today, Kuya Tats, thank you for your time again, and
Yeah, yeah.
we'll
Thank you also
continue.
for giving me the
Yeah,
opportunity to explain all these things in another format.
yeah,
Say, I would write about that. Kaya lang, iba rin yung pinag-uusapan.
yeah. And
I always wrote about that.
there's things that comes up too
Yeah.
in when we start talking about this. Like I don't know what my spirit guide would want me to say. It just comes and I would have to say it,
Yeah,
you know.
exactly.
I mean, these are not
That's what,
the first time that I have been saying these things. That's why I had to publish the second book. We were
mm,
indoctrinated now what and put everything there. So everything that Epstein was saying is actually in the book. The
exactly.
reality, the reality, the truth about the reality, um, and the controllers of this world. Anyway, with that said, bye everyone.
Yep.
We'll see you next week. With We're gonna go over in detail the spiritual and the mental.
Yeah, yeah. We'll go back to that again. I mean, I'm sorry about not being able to explain. I don't want to be confused kasi as to how to give the definitions. Baka ma-interchange ko yung mga labels.
Exactly, exactly. We want to make that clear, and also we're gonna talk about creation, the controversial
Creation.
create the story of our
Exactly.
creation. All
See,
right,
I mean,
so
now everything is exposed, everything had been said, and so enjoy life.
yeah, just not fear, but embody love, so you can
Love,
manifest
love is all there
positive
is.
timeline. Yep.